0808 100 9956. But staying with transport, it's thought Woodland near Solihull is being cleared this week to make way for HS2. Mature trees near Paul Wood, opposite the Birmingham Business Park, will be cut down so that the tracks can be laid. So how do you feel about more habitat being cut down for HS2? Now, obviously, that line has got to go somewhere, but with so many people using video apps like Zoom, is there any point in continuing with HS2 in a post-pandemic Britain? Let's talk to Ade Adiemo, who is a Liberal Democrat councillor in Solihull. Good morning to you, Ade.
Good morning. Former Liberal Democrat councillor.
Right. Oh, former. Okay. Yes, well, okay. Thank you for putting this right, Ada. Now, what do you make to Woodland being cut down to make way for HS2?
I think it's a very difficult issue and very awkward for local campaigners like myself. As Lib Dems, we're very much in favour of increasing the capacity of our railway system and taking more cars and lorries off roads, reducing congestion, improving the quality of air that we breathe. And that's why, as a party, we supported HS2 in principle. However, the focus now has to be on minimising the environmental damage, chopping down as few trees as possible, minimising the impact on wildlife, on our local environment, and also the disruption for local people.
Do you think that more care could be taken rather than kind of like rushing in there where angels fear to tread, just taking down the bare minimum of what they need to?
Absolutely. We've all seen some of the widespread site clearance that's currently happening along the HS2 route. And something that many people feel is akin to environmental vandalism, if we're going to be frank about it. We appreciate you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. HS2 will be built and a fair amount of site clearance is needed. The real debate is whether HS2 have to clear so much woodland and do so much lasting environmental damage whilst building the new railway.
But what is the long-term effect of cutting down so many of these mature trees?
I don't think we need to sort of go into too much detail. It's basically these trees are the lifeblood of our environment. It's as simple as the air that we breathe. We need to keep as many mature trees as we possibly can. I'm unashamed to say, that I love trees and I think they're good for us. So anything we can do to minimise the damage, it's really what Liberal Democrats are pushing for. Just to say, we don't have to do so much damage. We don't have to clear so much woodland.
Now, you've already mentioned, the argument that putting more people on trains instead of roads is actually good for the environment. But do you think that the line should go ahead now? Because so many people, throughout the pandemic, we kind of learn to work in a different way. We don't need to go to these places. We can do things on Zoom. So surely, environmentally, that is better if we kind of stay in one place and conduct this business rather than going there anyway.
I would like to say that was the case, but unfortunately, the way that things are moving, we are now moving to much more freight, much more traffic. Actually, people working at home means there are more lorries on the road because we're now all ordering things online, having packages delivered online. I've had goodness knows how many delivery vans have pulled up outside my house just in the last sort of few minutes. So there will be a lot more freight. What we need to do is take the freight off the roads. So we still need HS2. HS2 is going to go ahead, whatever we think. And I think there's no point in maybe arguing that case again. The basic principle for speed, for capacity is okay, but we don't have to support all aspects of the route. Poor landscaping policy, for example, the huge footprint, those are the things that we need to be talking about now. We also need to be talking about connectivity. The HS2 interchange is a mile away from Birmingham International. Nobody's really talking about that. You get off that train and you have to, have a journey to catch, another train or get to the airport. These are major things that, should have been dealt with much earlier.
I think that once it's there, once it's built and once it's up and running, these things become part of the landscape. I live near where it's going to be. And, the locals there say, well, there was uproar when the M42 was put in all those years ago. But it's there. It becomes part of where you are. The trees grow, the grass grows, nature grows again, doesn't it? To me, it's about, the impact that it's having whilst it's being built on local people as well, and what that's doing to the environment. Because it just doesn't appear there's a lot of work goes into putting this rail line down, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a chartered civil engineer, so I can speak a little bit with a little bit of knowledge about this. I think what we need to make sure our priorities right now must be that environmental damage during construction is kept to a minimum. And we must also remember that noise and disruption for those who live along the route must also be kept to a minimum. This is an 8 to 10 year construction project. So those living along the route will have to put up with severe disruption for a very long time. Anything that can be done to minimize these negative impacts will benefit the environment and also the communities who live along the HS2 route.
Do you know what? Those traffic lights near me are going to be there for the next 10 years. Is that what you're telling me? You're not filling me with cheer.
What I'm really trying to say...
It's not all about me, Ade. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a menace.
Well, okay, maybe I should have said 8 to 10 years then.
Now, when it comes down to it, can I just ask you, do you think that this line is going to be used by your average person or just businessmen and women?
Unfortunately, HS2 will probably be used mostly by businessmen and businesswomen. However, it will free up space on the other lines, the original West Coast Main Line, as well as the Chiltern Line, for ordinary passengers. So it may benefit us all, financially in the end. I think the main thing here is that as an organisation, HS2 Limited has an overriding responsibility to the public good, and this responsibility overrides any contractual arrangements. It is therefore incumbent on HS2 to execute their works with the least possible impact on the environment and the least disruption to local residents. Right now, I feel that they're on the wrong side of that public good, and I feel that they're also hiding behind contractual and sort of legislative arrangements, and that they really need to pay more attention to that public good and making sure that those of us who live around this area do not have to put up with that, and also that we just keep our sort of local area, our local woodlands, as nice as we possibly could.
Absolutely.
Possibly can.
Yeah, and so say all of us. Listen, Ade, it's been good talking to you. Thank you very much for your time today. That's Ade Adiemo, who was a former Liberal Democrat councillor in Solihull. But your thoughts on it, do keep them coming on HS2 08081 009956. That's 08081 009956 and 81333.